for my structure, I made use of what I had available. This is what you should use if you're doing this for a client or just for another purpose to secure the structure properly. This worked for me anyways. I used a wooden dowel in my board and the glue that I showed in the video to help secure. Then I also used styrofoam underneath the board to raise it up so that the dowel does not disturb the board from sitting right. So now for the base of our structure, we're going to be using styrofoam. I cut a piece of styrofoam to form the shape of the bottom part of the heart. I'm just using a piece of carton here to help serve as a separator board between the styrofoam and my actual cake. You don't want your cake touching the styrofoam. And I punctured some holes that would pass through the dowels that I'll be using to secure our structure. Now that that is all set, I baked yummy layers of coconut cake. I actually baked 2 size 8 cakes in the square shape and I ended up using just one. Yeah, so I'm stacking my cake now through the wooden dowel and skewers for support, and then to attach each layer I'm just spreading my buttercream. So now that that is stacked, I am trimming. I advise that if you're a beginner or you're a perfectionist, I advise that you cut out a stencil of a heart shape that measures up to the height of your cake and use it as a guide to trim your cake, because I struggled a little bit I'm not going to lie, but I am quite used to drawing hearts and I just assumed it's the same thing with a cake. I draw hearts all the time, I can always carve a heart. Yeah, it wasn't that easy. So I advise that you just use a stencil as a guide to avoid back and forth and all those things. I ended up having to trim my styrofoam as well because I decided to do a freestyle. So I needed to make sure that every single angle was perfect. I also advise that you use a serrated knife to carve your cake. This makes it easier to cut through the cake without making it crumble or break, especially if your cake is really moist. It can break, it can really scatter if your knife is just like not serrated. So yeah, kindly use a serrated knife when you're doing this. So I'm just going to continue the process and all the way through to the back of the cake till I am satisfied with my heart shape. I wanted my heart cake to have this rounded shape. I didn't want sharp edges at the sides, so this is me just carving those sides to give me that nice rounded shape. The inspiration behind this cake is the heart emoji, the purple heart emoji. And so here I'm crumb coating my cake with my buttercream. For the styrofoam dummy, I crumb coated it with vegetable shortening, because I didn't want it to get stained with the buttercream. I obviously plan to reuse the styrofoam much later. So I rolled out a piece of fondant that I had already colored purple. I actually used a mix of royal blue and red food coloring. I used 3 parts of red food coloring and 2 parts of blue food coloring to get the shade of purple. And I decided to use the drape method, which I regret. Draping is really not easy, especially for an abstract shape of cake or a shape that is not so straightforward. It was a lot. If you notice the cake is looking a bit wet here, you would think, oh, I probably steamed the fondant. That was not what happened. Okay, I had to wet my brush and use all my sculpting tools and my fingers to kind of smoothen out the imperfections due to my draping method. So next time I'll definitely do paneling. Or I would advise that if you are not so good with draping method, do paneling method. That would work much better. So now for my board, I wanted to give this illusion of fabric, silk fabric type of vibe, something wavy or some sort of movement. I didn't have enough fondant to do that, so that was why I decided to put little chunks of the purple fondant underneath to give me that illusion. And then the heart was looking too plain for me, and so I decided to beautify it a little bit with my flower cutouts. I've forgotten what kind of petal this is called. I used this as an outline for my royal icing because I was going to go back and trace the lines with royal icing through piping. and then brush it out as seen. At first my royal icing was quite watery. I had to go back and add in more icing sugar. So this is just me using the brush to brush out the royal icing a little bit to give the effect that I was going for. And then I'm just going to repeat this process till I cover the entire cake with the piping. And this is the finished look, guys. Look at how beautiful she is. Yeah, because I have a beautiful heart. So here I am cutting into the cake to reveal the delicious inside. This is actually a coconut cake, super moist and absolutely delicious. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.